A little girl ghosts? Footsteps in the hallway? Ghostly gangsters? Grab a snack and help us unpack all that and more. It's time for Ghost Files Debrief. Thank you for joining us. I'm Ryan Bergara, and as you'll see, I'm flying solo today. No Shane Madej, my normal partner in crime. That's because he is out on vacation celebrating his 50th birthday. Happy birthday to Shane Madej. I hope your celebration is going well. But I'm going to hold down the fort solo in your absence. We're here to answer your guys' questions about the Basin Park Hotel episode of Ghost Files, the season 4 premiere. What'd you guys think of the episode? Thank you all for watching it. It's been a fun time getting things started over here at Ghost Files HQ, but we're here today to answer your guys' questions. Just a little housekeeping up top here. If you want to watch Ghost Files episodes early, a month early that is, and if you want to participate in Ghost Files debriefs recorded live, you could do so over at watchertv.com. We actually have 2 Ghost Files live debriefs remaining, one of which is going to be recorded today if you're watching this when it's uploaded. But I digress. The Basin Park Hotel, really fun episode. We hadn't really done a, I would say, proper hotel, though I did see some folks out there saying that we have done the Magnolia Hotel, which was more like an Airbnb situation. We've done Hobo Hill House, which is an Airbnb situation as well. I should say Magnolia Hotel was more of a bed and breakfast situation. Whatever, we don't need to get into that. But this was an amazing investigation. This whole season, we have tried to involve local paranormal investigators, mostly from the sites themselves, just because then we can inject a little bit of the culture of the town, but also the spirits of that place would then know these people, and hopefully that means that we would get a warmer reception from the ghosts at these places, and I think that's exactly what happened here. So big shout out to the folks over at the Basin Park Hotel. I loved investigating with them. It was a really good time. But without further ado, why don't we go ahead and get into your guys' questions. Let's see what you guys are asking out there on them Ghost File streets. Let's go to @MacGivery. Do you guys think that if you asked Nathan Fillion to join you for an episode of Ghost Files, he would say yes? I'd like to think so. I guess there's only one way to know that. We were on the show The Rookie, Nathan's show. He was gracious enough to have us on that show as ourselves. We were basically bringing the world of Ghost Files into the world of The Rookie, a crossover, if you will. I could ask. We'd love to have him. Nathan, if you're watching this by any chance, we'd love to have you on. But, you know, yeah, I'm not going to hold my breath. I know you're a busy man. And you're in Superman. Congrats on that. Anyways, we're not here to talk about Superman. Let's get into another question. This comes from @Dolos8100. The reason you can't find any ghosts is because you go at night when all the ghosts are sleeping. Very funny. That's not really a question. It's a good theory, I guess. I'm actually gonna take that genuinely. I never considered that. Maybe they are sleeping if they're like us. You know, they're just like us. @Mona1031, will you guys ever collab with Sam and Colby? I would love to do that. Just like Nathan, I would love to collaborate with the other boys. I've long put that out there. So if anybody wants to go tag them, go ahead. I'd love to do an investigation with them. Would they love to do an investigation with the big guy breathing down their neck with all his skeptic bullshit? Who knows? I don't know, but I would like to personally extend an invite over to Sam and Colby. Would love to investigate with you guys. Call me. Moving on to the next question. We're just flying through these questions today because it's just me solo, so I'm gonna try and get through as many of these cues as I possibly can. This comes from @CSwizzly. Proud Bugara here. I think the episode actually has some pretty solid evidence. Did Shane have any thought of belief during the REM pod situation with Charlotte? Also, happy birthday, Shane. I think I did text Shane. I did text Shane about this because I did see this question beforehand. I asked him, did you have any kind of wavering thoughts of like, are you maybe moving away from skepticism, seeing how responsive the REM pod was with Charlotte and Sarah? And he texted back, no. So, Not really a surprise there. Look, I saw a lot of you folks out there in the comments accusing the folks at the Basin Park Hotel of some tomfoolery. I don't think so. I think we were just in a very active room. Also, we were right next to them. I was watching them the entire time. So I thought it was a very compelling session with the REM pod. Everything was very timely. Probably one of the cooler rooms we've ever investigated in that sense of just like everything was so active at the moment. And it really did feel like we were talking to Charlotte and Sarah. So that was really cool. And just a wholesome piece of investigating there. But not enough to convince Mr. Shane.
Yippee-ki-yay, fellow cool guys and gals. After returning from my trip to Arkansas, I'm saving up for a horse. And I really want to get on top of my expenses. Well, today's sponsor, Rocket Money, is here to help. Rocket Money is an easy-to-use app that helps you save more and manage your money better. I love using Rocket Money to cancel unwanted subscriptions. Once you connect your bank account, bing, bang, boom. Rocket Money identifies all of your subscriptions in a single list, just like that. From there, you can select the ones you don't want anymore. And Rocket Money may be able to help you cancel with just a few tip taps. I'm also a big fan of saving money. Just ask that ladies' man from Basin Park Hotel. Gave me the best foot massage of my life. Similarly, Rocket Money has helped its customers save up to $740 a year when you use all of the app's premium features. They've also helped customers save over $500 million in canceled subscriptions. Yeehaw! Lasso in your own savings and take control of your finances today. Go to rocketmoney.com/ghostfiles to get started for free. Giddy up, y'all. Come on now. I'm gonna pull you out of the laptop or the TV or wherever you're watching this. Maybe you're watching it on the toilet. I'll take you out when you're taking a poop.
Go to another question, shall we? What is the worst place you stayed overnight, including unsolved? #debrief. We were actually, believe it or not, planning on staying at the Island of the Dolls back in the unsolved days. That didn't happen, thank God. That's a larger story there. The B340 at the Queen Mary was disgusting. It doesn't look like it does now. I actually have heard it's now furnished and has a bed. That's usually something you want when you're sleeping at a place. We slept on the concrete. Yeah, it was not a fun experience. But probably Bel Air House comes to mind. This place was great. This is a proper hotel. I mean, I was put in the shittiest hotel room. And shitty in a sense, I mean haunted. Lizzie, our director, did that on purpose. But I found it to be a very somewhat peaceful sleep. I would say as peaceful as it could be in a haunted hotel. But to answer that question, I think I'm gonna have to go with B340 in the Queen Mary. Nope, Waverly. What am I talking about? Waverly Hill Sanatorium. We didn't sleep there when we went there for Ghost Files, but when we originally went there for BuzzFeed Unsolved, we slept basically on the roof of a very windy Kentucky building, and it was miserable. So not a fan of that at all. So that place. Moving on to another question here. At Shan.Kreitzer4710. Clearly Sarah and Charlotte really liked the equipment with lights. As ghosts, what piece of equipment would you enjoy interacting with the most? #Boogara. Yeah, I mean, REM pod is pretty cool. I think REM pod is, if I were a ghost, I feel like it would be the easiest to understand. Even if it was something out of my era, you get close to something, it beeps, the lights go off. That's very easy to understand. Other than that though, probably just an audio recorder. I think just hearing a voice is still, in my opinion, the best evidence and the most eerie piece of evidence, other than getting, a full-bodied apparition. There's something about hearing a voice from something that's like disembodied that still gives me the willies. So I would probably do that. Moving on to another question here. We got at L1LY_diamond. Yeah. How does the ghost hunting and investigation process change when you have the opportunity to talk to someone like Kalina or Sharon, who's familiar with the location and potential ghostly residents? It changes quite a, I wouldn't say it changes quite a bit. There is a bit of a kind of like trading off, because normally when it's just Shane and I'm usually the one asking all the questions, and Shane is, admiring the ceiling tiles or, looking at the paint job or something like that. But in this particular case, we're kind of sharing the ghouls together, me and Sharon and Kalina. And Sharon and Kalina, I let them take the lead in this one, or rather they let me tag along with them, I would say, because this is their home, essentially. This is their home haunt. They are constantly investigating this place. And with that comes a familiarity with all the spirits there, which is a huge advantage to me, because normally when we go in, it's just Shane and I showing up, knocking down the door, doing our little waka waka routine, and then hoping that whoever lives there talks to us. And our success rate at that, even when we're talking to living people, is not very high. So why would it be any different with dead people? But in this particular case, all the ghosts that were, supposedly in this hotel know Kalina and Sharon. So that helped quite a bit. As you could see in the room with Charlotte and Sarah, that was probably one of the most responsive REM pod sessions we've ever had. I did see people say that's very convenient that the room that you investigated with other investigators was very active, and as soon as they were gone, not as active. Once again, that's because the ghosts know who they are. That's at least what I believe. I could see how there would be a skeptic turn to that. But hey, he's not here. He's, off blowing out 50 birthday candles. So what is he gonna say to that? But no, I think the familiarity and also just they brought a warmth. Not every investigator that we've worked with this season, is gonna bring like a warmth, but I just felt a very, I'm trying to find the proper word here for what I'm trying to communicate, but I felt more wholesome doing the investigation this time than I ever have. There was just kind of like almost like a maternal energy to this episode, especially when we were talking to Sarah. And I don't think that would have been there with Sharon. I try and be as respectful and, open and welcoming as I can when I'm doing these, but at the end of the day, if we're looking at it at face value, I'm an adult stranger man talking to a little girl, and she's probably not gonna wanna talk to me, but she knows Sharon. And Sharon had told me off camera a bunch that she really did feel like a kinship with Sarah and Charlotte. So to see that kind of happen in the room, it was it was really cool, honestly. I mean, it's the first time I've ever felt any semblance of like the warm fuzzies, I suppose, on an investigation. It got me somewhat emotional, I would say, to even just see this kind of like boundary breaking, world breaking interaction happen between Sharon and these two ghosts. So that was really cool. But yeah, it just brought a different energy to the investigation and a familiarity, and I'm very excited to do more of that in future seasons, and you'll see in the rest of season 4 that we've done that quite a bit. Julie_Nelson55 says, 23:45, when the static cam in 310 picked up sounds, the Boo Buddy moved. Did someone come back and move it? Yes, somebody did come back, and I believe it was actually Shane and I. As you know, we've started to develop somewhat of a testy relationship with the Boo Buddy. Me, because I forget he's in rooms, and then he starts talking in the dark, and I almost poo my pants, and I want to kill him. And Shane just hates what he represents, the Boo Buddy. And so he also wants to kill the Boo Buddy. So I think in this particular case, one of us, I think Shane, if my memory is serving me correct, tried to playfully strangle the Boo Buddy and then put him back down, and that's what happened. So he moved in between setups, and that was because of that. So there you go. No ghosts there, just Shane being violent. Nolan.s.06, 1210 sounds like I like the alcohol. Now, I did see a lot of folks talking about that moment in the episode, so we're gonna go ahead and play this clip just for you guys so you could refresh your memory.
Okay, last shot. What's your favorite drink? Switch it to the other mode and we'll see what drink it sounds like. You got it!
I don't think we have that. This is a birthday present to Shane in and of itself, because he especially despises the Obelisk when it goes into phonetic mode. Now, the Obelisk has 2 modes. It has dictionary mode, in which it uses environmental factors to correspond with words in a dictionary database. And it has a phonetic mode where it takes those same environmental factors and then converts them into noises, like with a little robot voice, and Shane hates this robot voice. And so when we switched it over to phonetic mode, we immediately heard I like the alcohol. Or at least it sounds like that. At least people in the comments have said that it sounds like that. Personally, in the moment and now upon reflection and reviewing the tape, kind of a stretch. I think it's just noises and it doesn't really sound like that. That's why I like dictionary mode, because it's more absolute. There's no like interpretation. It's just the word and that's that. In this particular case, I mean, I could see how it kind of sounds like that, especially because we were talking about, you know, what's your favorite alcohol and stuff like that. But I gotta say, I don't know about this one. Hey, and look, I'm a discerning believer, and I can't say that everything is evidence. And so remember that next time you believe I'm, you know, stretching. Impresso of the Lone Islands. Did anything happen on the overnight stay? Oh, Impresso. Matt, who's behind the camera, has just informed me that it's not Impresso. Because obviously, why would it be Impresso, a made-up word? I hate to admit that I actually thought espresso, that sounds good. But Empress of the Lone Islands, that makes so much more sense. It's because the of wasn't capitalized, all right? That's it, look, okay? It's the end of the week, folks. I'm filming this on Friday. Give me a break. Did anything happen on the overnight stay? And if so, will that be featured in its own episode? Nothing happened on the overnight stay, I'm happy to report. There was minimal bumping, but that could be chalked up to an old hotel. This is a very old hotel, historic hotel. You saw the brickwork on the outside, beautiful. But yeah, I mean, like, I will say that I did some basic reach out to the spirits when I was going to sleep, but I was really tired and I did not want to be bothered as I was going to sleep. So I wouldn't say I had the most inviting energy because I was already pretty emotionally and physically exhausted. But from my recollection and from, you know, reviewing the footage and whatnot, we didn't see anything that happened in the hotel. So, no, not that I know of, but lovely hotel and unpleasant room that I was sleeping in. It was directly under room 310. So fun for me. Nicole Mal, 69. Hi guys. I was wondering how you decide the order of the release of episodes. I'm curious to whether it's already decided by the time you guys are filming or if it's determined post-edits. Also, if it's after the edit, what makes you choose certain episodes to release before others? Thanks. Smiley face. Really good question. So we do shoot these in batches. So in this particular case, we shot this episode and then we shot the next episode, which you're gonna see not next week because we are alternating Ghost Files, then Ghost Files Debrief, then Ghost Files. But the next episode you'll see of Ghost Files proper is gonna be at the Clayton house, also in Arkansas. We shot that in the same trip. And honestly, we put them in order based on what occurred on location. So much of paranormal investigation is the after. Most of the time, I would say 90% of the time, things do not happen on the actual location. You'll find it later when you review all of your audio, all of your camera angles, and then you'll find your evidence. Particularly in the static setups, when you've warmed a room up and now you've left. But in this particular season, we did have a fair amount happen in all of the episodes, so we kind of went in order of how we shot them. So we shot this episode first, then we shot the second episode, which was Clayton House, and then so on and so on. But normally we will order them by what happened the most, and happened the most on location. Because when we're choosing the order of these, we have to choose in advance and not after I've had time to sift through all the footage and the audio. So we're basically going solely off of what happened on location. And a lot of times, there's not a lot that happens on location. One of the greatest examples of this I could think of is, not for this show, but you know, from our BuzzFeed Unsolved past, we did an episode at Goatman's Bridge, and I really very, very clearly remember walking away from that one, Shane and I both going, that's gonna be a shitty episode, because nothing really happened, and it ended up being one of your guys' favorite episodes. Both because of the goof 'em ups, but also we did find some stuff in that. So it's not always a precise science, or an accurate science, I should say, in terms of choosing the order, but we do try and order it based off of like, okay, in particular for this episode, even though we didn't use this kind of methodology for this season's order, a lot happened at the Basin Park Hotel. So we were like, okay, this would be a very good season premiere. If we were to look at it this way, this one, a lot happened this season, so we just kind of went in order, which I'm very excited for you guys to see the rest of the season. But that's usually how we do it. Hope that answered that. And that does it for all the questions for this episode of Ghost Files Debrief. Thank you all for watching Ghost Files, the season 4 premiere, and also watching this episode of Ghost Files Debrief. As I mentioned earlier, if you want to watch live debriefs in which we record these bad boys live and you guys could participate in the comments and we can answer your questions that way, you could do so at watchertv.com. You'll also be able to see Ghost Files episodes a month early. In fact, 2 episodes, episode 2 and episode 3 are already up there on Watcher TV, so you could go ahead and watch those right now if you sign up, or just sign up for a free trial. Then you could watch those, and you could also participate in the Ghost Files Debrief live. That's happening today at 3 p.m. Pacific time, if you are watching this video when it's uploaded. If not, it has long passed, and there's one remaining, I believe, on June 6th, which will also be a live Ghost Files Debrief following the finale. But for the purposes of this episode, thank you again, guys, for joining. We'll see you guys next time, and Shane will be a new man when he comes back. He's gonna believe in ghosts because he's wiser, 1 year wiser, and I hope he comes to his senses. But until then, we'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.
It's funny because we were at the hotel and we spent the night there before we shot there.
Yes.
And that entire first night, it did not occur to me that the place was haunted.